हेलो हेलो।
हाँ सर।
यस सर।
हाँ, वो स्क्रीन आ रहा है ना?
यस सर।
ओके, so now today we are going to discuss about the microbiology of meat, poultry and seafoods. You people have already studied about the microbiology of uh, different type of vegetables, then fruits and fruit juices. You have already, you have also studied about the microbiology of different bakery items, then cereals. So now today we are going to discuss about the microbiology of meat, poultry and seafoods. So first of all, we have discussed so many times about the spoilages. Again, I want to refer you people that spoilages is the process in which food deteriorates and produce undesirable changes in the product and become unsuitable for human consumption. What is happening in generally spoilage? Some kind of microbial contaminants uh, will invade the different food system, and that will gain entry into the food item. They start utilizing different kind of uh, you please all are requested to mute your mobile. You all are requested to mute your mobile. Okay, so what is
Yes
happening
sir.
in microbial spoilages? uh, a number of different kind of contaminating microorganisms which are responsible for spoilages of different kind of food item, and the they are the same type of problem is created by those contaminating microorganisms in meat. So what is happening in that? They entered into the system and they start breaking the different component of meat and produces different kind of end product. Sometimes it is not good for our health, and at the same time, it is responsible for imparting some kind of unpleasant taste and color to our product. And ultimately, it also have some kind of harmful effect on human health. So it is very important to know the microbiological significance of uh, different processing steps, what are the natural microflora generally found in meat, and what are the conditions which favors or which unfavors the uh, growth and activity of different kind of contaminating microorganisms. So first of all, it is important to know how these spoilages uh, occur in different kind of meat or poultry meat or seafoods. So normal slaughtering techniques which we are using. Now, the next one is external sources during bleeding, handling, skinning, cutting, and processing. So these all are responsible for adding some number of microorganisms in our product. Now, the next one is intestinal tract of animals, then exterior of animals, hide, hooves, hairs, then knives, which we are using for cutting of big pieces into small pieces, clothes, air, the surrounding air where we are performing all these things, then hand and clothing of workers. So all these add some number of microorganisms to our product. Depends on the method of slaughtering, uh, like mechanical, chemical, electrical. It also influence or add some number of microorganisms depending upon the technique we are choosing for during the processing operation. Now, meat microbiology. Why we are studying this meat microbiology? You see in daily diet, people are using different kind of meat product, or people are using fish item or egg. So automatically, there may be chances of transferring some kind of diseases to human being. Or sometimes, if proper quality is not maintained during production or processing or transportation, the quality will be deteriorated. Now, foodborne diseases. sometimes a number of different kind of foodborne diseases um, may be transmitted through these food items. Food spoilage is also one of the most important considering point. Then meat quality, whatever meat you are using, that is not up to a certain level. Now, what are the different preservation methods generally used for preserving these food items? So one must have idea about all the preservation techniques generally used for increasing shelf life of different kind of meat item or seafood item and egg item. Then flavor alteration. What is happening in some case by the action of different kind of microorganisms or because of certain enzymes present in the system, flavor will be of these product will be altered. So automatically we have to have idea about the uh, different things which are responsible for creating flavor alteration in our product. So before going in detail, one thing is clear to you people that deep animal tissues is sterile. And the main area of concern is tissues near the surface of carcasses and whole muscle cuts. So here in this picture, you can see uh, whatever the cuts are there, if it is contaminated, if you are keeping these products into open air, automatically some number will be adhere on the surfaces or deposited on the surfaces. So it will ultimately
कार्केस क्या होता है?
uh,
कार्केस क्या होता है सर?
जो उसका पूरा जो कवर होता है कार्कासेस, जो देखते हो पूरा हार मांस जो ऊपर का कवर जो कार्कासेस, लिटरल मीनिंग तो देख लेना जैसे जानवरों का ऊपर का देखते हो ना पूरा जो कवर्ड होता है जिसके ऊपर पतला एक लेयर होता है स्किन का, तो जो
अच्छा
भी
सर, हाँ।
सरफेसेस है उस पे भी आने का ऊपरी लेयर जो होता है जहां पे जब तुम कटोगे, व्हेन यू आर रिमूविंग द अपर सरफेस ऑफ दैट एनिमल, ऑटोमेटिकली you can see the carcasses and ultimately it affect the total whatever microbiological quality of product that will be affected. Now something about meat spoilage. Raw meat starts deteriorating by its own enzymes and sometimes because of the action of different kind of microorganisms or sometimes chemically oxidized, chemical oxidation is there. So automatically these things are responsible for meat spoilages. Autolysis changes include some proteolytic action on muscles and tissues resulted in hydrolysis of fat. Then defects caused by autolysis is generally known as souring. Okay. Now invasion of tissues by microorganisms. How invasion takes place? And what is invasion? Invasion of tissues by contaminating microorganisms takes place after death of animal. Automatically, some factors are also responsible for the invasion of invasion of tissues by these microorganisms. So, what are those factors? And we should have idea about those factors which directly affect the invasion. Microbial load of the gut of slaughtered animal. You know, gut is the powerhouse of any human being or animal. Automatically during slaughtering, if the rest part of the body is somehow if you touch the or come in contact of the that part of the animal, fresh part or whatever meat part is there which you are using for consumption purpose, if it is it come in contact of the that gut, it will add some number of contaminating, or you can say the gut microflora will enter into the fresh meat and it will affect the overall quality. Now the next one is health and physical condition of the animal before slaughter. If it is a healthy animal or not suffering any kind of disease, automatically you will get a good quality meat by slaughtering a good health animal. So health is also very important. It should not transmit any abnormal or disease causing microorganisms to meat. Now the method used for slaughtering and bleeding. And next one is rate of cooling. How fast you are cooling your meat items. It is also very important in Meat also, just like your milk. Now the growth of microorganisms in meat. You all know that meat is an ideal food and it is having high moisture content, richness in nitrogenous compound, and high amount of minerals is there, and a number of different type of growth factors are also there in different kind of meat, and automatically these are these things regulate the growth and activity of different kind of contaminating microorganisms. It also contains fermentable carbohydrate that is known as glycogen, unfavorable pH range, which suits most of the contaminating microorganisms. So these things are very simple, and you people have already studied in different courses that whatever nutrients are available that favors the growth and activity of different kind of microbe. Now, here I have listed some of the factors, the kind and amount of contamination with microorganisms and the spread of these microorganisms in the meat. So it is also very important what type of microorganism is there or nature of contaminating microorganisms. Nowadays, people are always talking about the time. Why people have started talking about time? Previously, we were talking about or discussing about the number, because there are few microorganisms, they can create a very big problem even if it is a small in number. So it is very important that what type of microorganism and at what number it is present in the system. Then physical properties of milk. So it is also very important what type of meat is there and what is the physical properties. Then chemical properties of meat, availability of oxygen and temperature. There are different type of microorganisms which can grow in a presence of oxygen or in absence of oxygen. Then temperature at what you are storing your meat. So these all factors are influencing the growth and activity of different kind of microorganisms. Here, in this figure, you can see a danger zone that is in between 4 degrees centigrade and 60 degrees centigrade. If you are, whatever product is there, you should not keep your meat item or any food item at this temperature zone for longer period. And the period should not exceed more than 2 hours. So it is very important to think about this. And you should not cross the limit. If you really want to keep your product safe, and if you want a longer shelf life, automatically you should keep these things in your mind. If you are storing your product below 4 degrees centigrade, naturally you are prolonging the shelf life of your product. Now the type of spoilers. What type of spoilers generally you will get in meat item? Generally, it is because of the aerobic condition or because of the anaerobic condition. What is happening in this? Under aerobic condition, what are the different groups which create surface slime? They are the species of Pseudomonas, Acinetobacter, Moraxella, Alkaligenes, Streptococcus, Leponostoc, Bacillus, and Micrococcus. It is an indication of a spoilage often observed before expiry date. It means, what do we mean by this? It means if your product is contaminated, highly contaminated with these species of these microorganisms, they may create some kind of abnormal things like surface sliminess on the surface of meat and ultimately create quality problem. Now the next one is changes in color. Generally, you must have seen your meat. If you are keeping it for a longer time, what type of changes is there in the different kind of meat? The red color of meat called bloom may be changed to shades of green, brown, grays as a result of production of oxidizing compound. And what are those oxidizing compound which is found if you are keeping your milk for a longer period at room temperature? That is hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen sulfide, then lactobacillus and leponostocs. So these are the mainly responsible group for changing color of meat. Now the changes in fats. So generally, oxidation of unsaturated fats may take place chemically in air, and it is catalyzed by light and copper, and that is called oxidative rancidity. You people have already studied in case of milk that what are the different type of rancidity problem is there. Now the Pseudomonas and Achromobacter, these are the responsible microorganisms for oxidative rancidity, and it is mainly created by and it is also created by some kind of yeast. Now something about surface discoloration. It is due to the pigment forming bacteria. Red spot may be caused by Serratia marcescens. Everywhere you can see this name Serratia marcescens responsible for red pigmentation. And then Pseudomonas sansainia can impart blue color, and Micrococcus or Flavobacterium imparts yellow color. So you have to remember this line that Serratia marcescens for red color. Anyone can speak how Serratia marcescens for red color? And at the same time, if your product is contaminated with Pseudomonas sansainia, automatically it is responsible for blue color, and Micrococcus and Flavobacterium for imparts yellow color, that is for yellow color. Now the next one is off color and off taste. Taints or undesirable odors and off taste. Whenever it appears in a milk, souring, you can observe souring type of problem. That will give sour odor, and it may be due to the volatile acid like forming butyric, propionic, and it is mainly produced by the action of microorganisms. Sometimes cold storage flavor or taint observed in meat, and it is nothing but a stale flavor. Whenever you people are visiting some dairy plant, and if you check the quality of milk, which is stored at low temperature for a very long time, so the same stale flavor you can observe in milk also. In case of musty or earthy flavor, meat contaminated with actinomycetes are the causative organisms for the same. Now, what are aerobic growth and mold? What are the problems generally found by the growth of aerobic microorganisms and mold? Stickiness. What is happening in that? Surface becomes sticky. Whiskers. When meat is stored in frozen condition, mycelial growth may take place without sporulation. It is mainly because of different kind of mold. Black spot. If black spot is present in milk, that is caused by Cladosporium herbarum. Then white spot, it is caused by Sporotrichum carnis. Then green patches, it is mainly caused by Penicillium, such as Penicillium expansum and Penicillium oxalicum. So you have to remember the name of these microorganisms, causative microorganisms, which are responsible for these type of discoloration problem. Then decomposition of fat. It is because of many mold. Which are responsible for producing lipases, and that will ultimately hydrolyze the fat present in the food item. Now, the spoilases under anaerobic condition. What is happening when you are creating anaerobic situation or anaerobic condition in different kind of meat product? Facultative and anaerobic bacteria can able to grow within the meat under anaerobic condition, and they are causing spoilages. Now, following changes occur in such condition. What is happening when you are storing your milk in anaerobic condition? Souring, it imparts sour taste to meat due to acids such as formic, propionic, acetic acid, and meat's own enzymes are responsible for it. Now, the second one is putrefaction. putrefaction is the anaerobic decomposition of protein with the production of foul-smelling compounds such as hydrogen sulfide, indole, ammonia, amines due to Clostridium species. You all have idea about the anaerobic nature of Clostridium species, Clostridium botulinum and Clostridium perfringens. So these are responsible for creating this foul-smelling, for producing foul-smelling compounds, and it is because of the production of hydrogen sulfide, indole, ammonia, amines due to this particular microorganism. Sometimes some taints are there, taints or undesirable odor and taste, and it appears in meat because of different kind of contaminating microorganisms. Clostridium species have been associated with the production of large amount of gas, vacuum packed beef accompanied by foul of odor. In some cases, some amount of gas is also produced by lactic acid bacteria without extensive off flavors, and it is associated with vacuum packed beef and pork. Now the next one is pasteurized canned product. If your product is already pasteurized and thereafter canning process is done, so what is happening in that? Bacillus, Clostridium species, Enterococci, then Streptococci, and heat-resistant bacteria, resistant lactic acid bacteria may be present. Then refrigerated canned product, Streptococcus species are responsible for that. Then in case of, so this is all about general meat which we are consuming, pork meat, beef meat, or whatever meat we are using. Then the poultry meat like meat of other animals is also susceptible to contamination by various sources. Contamination of skin and lining of the body cavity take place during various processing operation. The organisms are of great importance in poultry. What are the different species generally found in case of poultry? They are Salmonella species, Campylobacter jejuni, several gram-negative psychotropic bacteria like Pseudomonas, Acinetobacter, then Flavobacterium. So these are the microorganisms which are responsible for creating abnormal things in abnormal end product in poultry meat. And these have already been isolated from different cases, carcasses. Then freezing further reduces the number of microorganisms in the poultry meat provided the temperature is maintained quite below -80 degrees centigrade or below. So what is happening in case of poultry meat? Nowadays people are consuming this type of frozen poultry meat, and it is available in all big markets. So you can see the temperature range of storage of that kind of meat. Generally, it is they are maintaining -18 degrees centigrade or below. So whenever you are purchasing that kind of milk, you have to keep this thing in your mind, that whether the distributors which are responsible for killing or distribution purposes, they are maintaining this temperature range or not. And poultry can be kept in good condition for months when it is frozen. Now the next one is poultry should be frozen fast enough to retain most of the natural bloom and the external appearance of a freshly raised fowl. So these things you have to keep in your mind if you just want to minimize the total bacterial load or total load of contaminating microorganisms in your product. So the skin of live birds may contain numbers of bacteria averaging 1500 per centimeter and could also be derived from the feet, feathers, and feces. So you have to check all these things, how you can separate and keep your product aside from the feet, feathers, and feces. Now, the contamination of the skin and lining of body cavity occurs during washing, plucking. So these are the steps generally used for preserving your food item or during the processing treatment. The process of sticking and bleeding can also introduce contaminating knives, clothes, air, and hands and clothing of the workers, which we who is responsible for handling this meat are also responsible for adding some number of microorganisms. Now, something about the spoilage of fish. So, what is happening in fish? Spoilage in fish generally accompanied by change in its physical characteristic. Change in color, odor, texture, color of eyes, color of gills, and softness of the muscle are some of the characteristics observed in a spoiled fish. Uh, you all sometimes must have visited nearby fish market. And what are the things you are observing? You are simply touching, you are observing the hardness of muscles of fish. So automatically just by doing that, you can have idea about the freshness of fish. Now some spoilage is caused by the action of enzymes, either by the action of enzymes, bacteria, and chemicals generally found in fish item. When you are keeping your fish at chilling temperature, the causative microorganisms for different kind of problems are Pseudomonas, Achromobacter, Flavobacterium. When you are keeping your product at ordinary atmospheric temperature, some number of Escherichia, Proteus, Serratia, Sarcina, and Clostridiums are responsible. When you are keeping your fish at higher temperature, in that case, some number of Micrococcus and Bacillus may be observed in that kind of fish item. Now, what are the things and what are the problem created in fish spoilage? That is putrefaction, breakdown of protein, slime production, sourness, discoloration, and rancidity, breakdown of fat, then rancid odor. You people have already studied about oxidation, rancid problem. So many abnormal things are there. Some kind of discoloration problem either created by different kind of bacteria, or sometimes it is created by the action of different kind of molds. So everything you have to remember what are the different groups which are responsible for creating different kind of spoilage problem in different kind of food items. So in addition, the following factors contribute to a spoilage of fish: high fat content, high protein content, weak muscles, tissues, extent of bacterial contamination, then ambient temperature, high moisture content, unhygienic handling, rigor mortis. These are use of an antibiotic, ice or dip. So all these things are responsible for adding or restricting the growth of or addition of some kind of contaminating microorganisms. You know, fish are very perishable in nature, and it is high protein food, and it contains a high level of free amino acid. The lipid content of fish is up to 25%. Automatically, you can well imagine the condition if any food item having this range of water activity, then fat and protein. So whatever microbe contaminate this product, they start metabolizing these amino acids and produce ammonia, biogenic amines such as putrescine, then histamine, cadaverine, organic acid, ketones, and sulfur compounds. So they are the responsible for creating abnormal taste and flavor to your product and responsible for deteriorating the quality of fish.